Count it. It should be 10 to 15 seconds.
Done.
Whiskey by the Jar, copyrighted by somebody else that I don't know about. But we're using it as entertainment for entertainment value.
So bad.
That's how my do that. We don't have to pay any taxes, right? Or royalties.
What? The copyright? The copyright's still a copyright. You can slow it down.
I guess so, but I mean, I just don't want anybody when this thing takes off to
say that we're
using their entertainment value to further propel our success.
We're not successful.
And eventually we'll have to pay a royalty of money we don't have.
I'm very doubtful for stuff that we don't have.
Well, you know, I'm very optimistic.
So. All right, different mugs. First episode.
It's what? 20 May.
It is 20 May.
20 May 2018.
2018.
And it's 1610. First location is what? Dreiss, Germany?
Yep, Dreiss, Germany, my house. This will probably change more than a couple of times.
Several times.
Several times, because we don't have a home and no budget.
No budget.
Yes, no budget. But I'm sure someday my mom will give me money so that we can have more than just mugs and a cheap camera.
When my kids turn 18 and join the military, then I'll have some extra cash I can pass our way to this.
Or we can get some really cool sponsors. Probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
But I'm okay with that.
One day, if Lego can sponsor us, it'd be cool.
I like that one.
Yeah,
or the Dallas Cowboys.
Or the
Jerry Jones. Look, dude, I'm a huge fan. And everywhere I go.
Easy enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what are you doing? Come sit down. Come sit down. You're making me nervous. Come sit down.
So this is Different Mug Talk. This is our TV show.
Come on. Come on.
Very low budget, very low expectations right now. However, driven to succeed one day. Motivation is key to anything. To any endeavor.
One day.
So Different Mug Talk. Starting out with what is it? What are our mugs about today? So
I don't know.
Let me take us off.
Oh, me? Well, I went with the no handle Dallas Cowboys, Blue Star Cowboys. Huge fan, obviously. So my mug has significance because I'm from Texas. I'm from Dallas. So I'm a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. So for all the haters out there, yeah, I just don't care. Don't care. And there's actual coffee in here. I almost burned my lip drinking it the first time, so I'm just letting it sit.
French press coffee.
French press coffee. Yes, I'm very bougie. It's very light and crisp.
Where did you purchase it?
Actually, I got it at the DFW airport.
Yeah?
At the Dallas Cowboys shop.
Shop.
It's a really simple one. On my way back here to Germany, I purchased it and I was like, you know what? Set it on my desk, and there we are.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Now tell us about yours. Gotta be.
This is a, if anybody's seen the Lego movie, this is the coffee cups that they have. In fact, what's that name of the main villain? Mr. Business President Business. You know, he's got that evil hat on the side of it. It shoots out flames. They're Lego cups actually, where the flame shoots out from. So, but I got this in Legoland in Germany. I believe Legoland is by Ulm, Germany. Took my family there. I remember it was probably one of the most expensive trips that you could take with a family because they just charge the crap out of you. But it was probably one of the best experiences I ever had. We got to stay in the Lego castle. You know, it was just like a 10-minute walk from the actual park. You know, and then towards the end of the day, I said, if we haven't spent enough money, you know, of course the kids want to go to the gift shop. And one of the things I do see is the Lego cup. And you know, out of all the things I bought, this is the cheapest one.
I believe it.
Lego sets are.
Let me guess, like
Lego.
20 euro?
Fun fact: Lego set pricing is set on how many unique pieces there are in each figurine. So it's not necessarily
the pieces.
Yeah, how many unique pieces there are to the whatever the theme is for that. So if it's like a Star Wars like ship or something. And there's several unique pieces in there that to build.
$400.
That's why it'll be like $300-400. That's why Lego sets can be expensive, is based on how unique the pieces are. So as compared to you have like just bunch of random block squares,
yeah.
That's how it'd be made up. Then it'd be a lot cheaper. But since it's so unique, then that's what it is. Random fact.
Now you know. I did not know that.
So
yeah.
Cheers. Different mugs.
Different mugs.
Different talk next time.
I hope. We're still doing the same topic. for episodes? It need to be a part 2 and part 3?
I would hope so. Subscribe and let us know.
Yes, yes. So today's topics, I am dog sitting, so this is why this young puppy is sitting here on my couch and messing with me because she wants to play. But today's topics, we're talking in-game loot crates. I'm not fond of them, but we're going to talk about them, especially with what the issues we have going on with in-game loot crates. Ugh, I'm just not a fan. Second topic, we're talking kids and gaming. I don't have kids, so George, you're going to talk about it because I don't know. I'm just going to talk about it from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
Outside looking in.
Perspective,
From a single person's perspective, kids gaming nowadays. And then the last one, really? Yeah, this is a topic in and of its own. We're going to be talking about online subscriptions. Are they worth it? The real question that anybody who's getting a PS4 Pro or an Xbox has to wonder, do you really need those subscriptions? Especially for the Xbox when you're paying $50 or more just to play online games.
Yes.
So those are the topics today. And obviously we already talked about it. So this is why it's a discussion because I can't stand loot crates. I'll go and buy them for the aesthetics, swords and things that bring back nostalgia for me, but I don't like some of the games which actually have the perks added to them, where now it's like a play for play, whatever, for loot crates. People going in and now they're level 100 and it's all because of the gear that they're wearing. They didn't actually grind and do it. So for me, gaming's not fun that way. It actually takes away the fun for me.
Yes.
So I leave it to you. I don't know. Everybody has their own opinion, but loot crates suck.
Yeah, when you think about it, you could say that the original loot crates, initially started with the first person shooters, more specifically Call of Duty Modern Warfare. You know what I'm saying? When you would make so many kills and you would get something, as a reward. You know what I'm saying? Which will help you put you over the top.
True.
Now, of course, online nowadays, whether you have bad internet, whether you're just not good in general at gaming, how does one even out the playing field? If I was a game developer, I would say, if only 5% of people out there are just destroying most of the. This is a random topic. There's no math behind it. We can do some math later. But I'm saying if your lobbies are usually dominated by one person, people are putting in comments and complaints, and
There you go.
is it recording?
Yeah.
No kidding. The screen's everywhere on.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm saying it's a good concept, I'm saying, because if you have one or two guys that are always kind of dominate the gaming, what's it called? I guess I'm at a loss for words here. I'm saying? Whatever set of group of players you're constantly playing with.
Like the boards or
yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What is the answer to it? Do you just keep grinding out until you get better? Absolutely, that would be the fast choice. However, we live in America, which is a country of convenience. Being in Europe, you kind of learn. Living in Europe, you kind of learn about how just America loves having convenience. So that's I think that's ultimately the good intention behind the loot crate, but just like anything, there's always that profit margin that has to happen.
Well, I mean, I know at one point we discussed what happened with what was it? Was it Battlefront? Star Wars Battlefront 2, where you could really I agree. Where you make this astronomical purchase for these, what is it, the extra deluxe edition, thinking you're going to get all these really cool things, and especially when they start advertising for perks on top of things, and you don't actually get them. That's disheartening at best. But for those players that are putting down that kind of money and you're thinking you're going to get this latest and greatest, what's the point? I'm all for expeditious and, for the everyman that works and everybody that does things with their time, like hiking, other than gaming.
Yeah.
I get it. Quick purchases, that's cool. But it takes away something where you just got that instant gratification. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Which can be a perfect segue into our next topic. But regardless, the loot boxes, I really, I see it as a bridge between, smartphone free apps, where now, where exactly, what I'm saying, just smartphone free apps where they'll give it to you for free, but in-app purchases are just gonna be the case. I remember one of the biggest arguments I think for gaming was for a while is like developers would say, once we make the game, we don't make any more money unless we put out content and people buy it again. Because once they put it out, then it's like technically the console, manufacturer that maintains the online gaming.
Sure.
People are paying to them to go online and play. So there's no more profit. So, where does one lie as far as like, everybody's gonna want to make some money. If you work your ass off for a year to make this game, and then as soon as you publish it, that's it. That's the end of your revenue stream, other than the sales, which get divided up into so many different parts of the company. So yeah, it's interesting, but I do agree with you that I just think they're absolutely unfair, and people just play to work them, and then that's it, and they just kind of wait for the right loot box to show up, and then they just go. And not that everybody that gets a loot box is obviously gonna like
Yes.
just
Yes.
demolish the field.
Well, it's different because like when I play online, here's the PC gaming. When I go and play Final Fantasy 14, and you're playing for your loot box or you're fighting a boss, that crate you get is randomized, and that's what you're really wanting, some of the best gear, right?
Yeah.
But you've had to do something before you could get it. It's not just something you can just go and pay for. And maybe you could. Maybe there's some of the content that you can just pay for, but I had to spend 4 hours fighting this boss, timing things. Yeah, there's a way to do it, and for me, just throwing down $20 to get something isn't worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just getting to a point now where what is the intent behind a game? You get so much build up excitement. And I think Battlefront 2, as of 20 May 2018 today, still kind of like one of the biggest disappointments when it comes to loot crate. Fun fact: the loot crates were still debated in Europe that in Belgium they're considered legal because they're considered gambling.
Why?
The loot.
How?
Well, because you think about it, just paying money to receive something that could pay out in dividends. You know what I'm saying?
I guess.
I mean, it's not using
it's a
specific
randomized
terminology.
Yeah.
I use some specific terminology from the game, but if I need something worthy, like let's say for example a Jedi from the game,
Okay.
and I pay for this loot box. Oh man, I got a new suit for a stormtrooper. Pay again. Oh, I got a new helmet. Pay again. Oh, I got this. And then maybe based on the randomization that EA or whoever does sets that they will only pay out a good thing for every 100,000 purchases. No math again, specific, just random numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a slot machine. You don't know when you're gonna hit that randomization, that slot machine to pay you out. That's why you know what I'm saying. So that's why it's considered kind of like I can see how it's considered
Gambling.
Gambling. Absolutely. Because it just takes away from it. So yeah.
That's in-game loot crates.
So segueing into our next topic,
What,
you know what I'm saying?
Kids in gaming?
Kids and gaming. Kids and gaming.
Because they are the main ones pressing
Exactly.
buttons
So-
and purchasing on your card.
So most people think that kids are like the main gamers, but it's actually adult males between the 30s and between 30 and 40 years old is the average gamer nowadays.
This is true. Female gamers are rare, but actually that's not true anymore either.
Yeah, it's starting to come up. But and I believe this is just because the solid foundation that somebody from my age, I turned 5 in 1990, and I was already getting into video games like Super Mario. But then again, those games, when they were developed to be very difficult and to be replayable. They didn't have achievements. They didn't have like Easter eggs. They didn't have all these little things. Maybe they might have maybe some
Well,
little
you
Easter
gotta
eggs here and
define.
there.
Yeah, you gotta define.
But I mean,
Easter
nothing where
egg.
you go off map. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying, to go find it. It's like along the way you would see something or an extra item.
Technically, unless
Yeah.
we're talking Super Mario Brothers, but that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, exactly. Where you find the extra tunnels and
yes. Yeah, that's a whole
yeah,
other
that's,
discussion.
but that's like the like the cheat stuff. Back in the day, that was like cheating. It's like because you're like, oh man, you cheated because you skipped, this level or that level. But back then, it required time and dedication. And there was, the saves were always controversial. Like wherever they go,
Yeah.
like Double Dragon is by far the biggest culprit when it comes
I can't
to
stand. That was the
how much patience you needed to have because
That
you get 3
game-
continues for the entire game.
That game sucked.
And then you get only like 3 or 4 lives, and you play the thing. And if you knew by a certain part of the stage or a certain stage where you've lost this many lives or continues,
Reset.
you know you're not beating that game, and all your accomplishments, zip, gone. No way to reset to it. So, off topic we're straying, but it leads back to what we're talking about is we had to learn patience. We had to learn the grind of what it takes.
True.
Nowadays, you know what I'm saying, like what's the game? Is it Dark Souls or something where if you die, it resets you all? No, not Dark Souls.
No, Dark Souls did it. Like it started you. I mean,
if you die,
your waypoint.
What's that one where you're like kind of like fighting all these like Grim Reaper type?
Dark Souls.
No, not Dark Souls.
Are you sure?
There was another one. I'll find the name. I'll find it. But if you die, like you start at the beginning of the stage and you have to work your way through. And people are like, oh my god, all up in arms about it. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's back to old school, because kids nowadays need that instant gratification. Like, oh no, I died 2 minutes before that. Like for example, when you play Breath of the Wild, it's constantly saving. Just over and over and over. You know what I'm saying? So if you die, you're like, oh man, I have to trek across, this many places. No, like you're gonna start out like where you were like maybe a minute ago, at most. And that's where it's at. And that's what it's turned into. It's the instant gratification that satisfies the need, of today's mentality of gaming.
Yeah, but I mean,
think first-person shooters, right?
Yeah.
You die, you're fucking button mashing. You're button mashing already to get back into it sometimes,
Yes, but I mean, 30 seconds is a long time to be sitting there watching someone beat you up, or it keeps replaying the fact that you got killed.
Exactly.
The kill cam.
You shouldn't have gotten killed.
But if I was playing, I mean, even old school. We're talking. Stop it. 007. I'm sorry. Whoops.
Probably pulled the hair.
Probably. Like if we're. Okay, here. So if we're talking 007, we still had kill cams, but it was a shorter time for me to actually jump back into the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, it's a different type of gaming. Like I could, even now. I mean, kids do it no matter what the game is. You're
way more fast paced.
I'm not smart. I'm not that smart to.
Yeah.
The running gun fast pace of what the kids are able to do now.
Yeah, there was an interesting video I was watching about, the millennials versus Generation X. Millennials being people born between 1980 to about mid 1990s to 2000s.
Yeah.
And then Generation X is about late 1990s to about the 2000s, and how Generation X children are able to multitask and multi-process because they grew up on those interfaces to be able to just boom, 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 just see this phone, work on this, watch TV, be on their phone, be on the computer, just be able to do all these different things. So, gaming has adapted to that, fast pace, hit them hard, come again, like let's do this, like just non-stop.
Yes, but what happened to the days where you would throw your controller at the TV?
Yeah.
I don't know. It can be anything. Like you're just that frustrated. I mean, even now, things that frustrate us now are different than what it used to be.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if you die, like you're almost mad. Like, why did I die? Why don't I have more life or something? But before, you used to have an actual bar with like little squares that would tell you, and you'd be looking for like.
Yep.
What's that one? Not. Was it Final Fight or something where you were like these two muscle-bound dudes that were going around and they would eat the turkey leg to restore their energy. But that's the mentality. I mean, like, can you really blame the kids nowadays? Because if you were to put them in front of an old video game like that, they would think it's boring as hell.
I mean, you can only speak for like your kids. I mean, is it because you started them with those games? I mean, if you.
I didn't. No. Because I tried to show them those games, and they were like, this is slow. Like, why's it taking so long? Like, what do? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's too simple almost. Like, it's kind of like, that's all it is? Is that all? You're like, yeah. They're like, well, what else? Why can't I press this button? Why can't I do this? Where's the other buttons? Things like that. You know what I'm saying? They need that complicated variety of just excitement. That's what it's come down to. And I don't think it's necessarily that that's a bad thing, but I think it's definitely adapted to what it is nowadays.
So you're basically, I'll make sure I got it right. So you're basically saying if I was to go back, half my kids now, right? My fake ones, have my fake kids, and I'm training them early, they would not want to play old side scrollers like Spyro or I mean, they're now updated that game. Obviously,
Yeah.
it is now a more expansive world, or a Banjo-Kazooie, or for all intents and purposes, you're saying like Super Mario would be boring to kids.
I would think so, yeah, just because they would find it difficult.
Well, yeah, that's the point. That is the
They would
point.
find it difficult. They would find the side scrolling and the freedom to not be able to move around at their own will. The limited camera angle and views,
Oh yeah, that's
the limited
third person.
moves. These are all things that they constantly develop and they want to do
2D.
to make it more interactive. I guess is the right term, right? Is just to make it more interactive to,
I don't know.
to further the experience. I guess is.
Well,
what I'm
no,
trying to
we're
say.
now in an age of 3D, and I mean, we're talking a time when
VR
and things like
Yeah.
basically stuff is sniffing up your nose. Like I don't know. Kids, I'm of the mind. Maybe some research could be done from those researchers out there, where you start with the kid that's young and teach them the side scrollers early. How do they develop? Are they different? Do they need the instant gratification?
Yeah, yeah.
There are kids now getting cell phones at 1-year-old, and they're
Yeah,
It was a
start them off with a Mega Man game and see how they do. It would be tough.
I think it would, but
It would.
cognitively speaking, I think they would probably develop a lot better than those guys that are just trying to put blocks into little square or circles.
Yeah, true.
That was just me. I mean, I was one of those
Yeah.
kids that was not putting the square into the. Actually, I found out you can't put square in the circle. Simple enough, right? But if you have those parents out there, let us know what you guys think. I mean, I don't have kids, so it's harder
Yeah.
for me to say.
Well, ultimately, my thing is, the gaming nowadays is just developed to the way kids are. It's not so much that it's, they're spoiled or anything. It's just, game developers now understand that that's the kind of necessity that you need. Like when Nintendo 64 came out and Super Mario 64 came out, people were like, oh my gosh, look at all the things you can do. It's like an amazement. The controller itself was revolutionary, in so many different ways,
True.
It just, expanded, just the way it is. So I think it's just, the times are accepting of what the public now wants nowadays. And, and sometimes I think it's unfair to say like, oh, kids don't know getting me back in the day,
Because it's a completely different time.
It's a completely
Yes.
different, perspective. You can't show somebody a 2018 Mustang and be like, oh, you don't know a real car, let me show you a 1994 Mustang, which is a very popular model at the time, but
It
not
was,
a
yeah.
classic. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, no, it's
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's probably bad metaphor in comparison.
horrible metaphor, but you
However-
should have gone to the Musclehead years in
Yeah,
the 60s.
probably, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like right on top of like, like bodybuilding nowadays, natural bodybuilding from the 1960s and 70s compared to now. Which one's better? Oh, back then there was no supplements. It was all straight up their own bulking and everything.
Straight
I was like,
steroids.
yeah, exactly.
Straight antibiotic
exactly.
steroids.
Exactly. There's all kinds of different things that weren't tested for versus now.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like, oh, was that better? Like, I think people should just definitely, just at least see both sides, and and it's good to argue either one. Whichever one you feel strongly about.
Yeah.
I would love to hear anybody's side. It's kind of like see exactly what it's about.
Preferably, maybe a teacher. Teachers hang out with these kids, especially.
Yeah.
Every day.
Teachers game
I don't know.
probably.
I know a lot of teachers that game.
Do they?
Yeah. I mean, I can name only 2, but I'm sure there's a lot more teachers than that game.
Yeah, I guess so. My sister-in-law is a teacher. She doesn't game. My brother's a big gamer. Either way,
Yeah.
this leads into our next topic.
Yes. So we're talking subscriptions, guys. Subscriptions. Do you have an Xbox Live account?
I don't have an
subscription?
Xbox Live account, and I currently don't have a PS4 account, and I find myself still being able to turn on, get my updates, and then buy, buy these video games that, just give me the satisfaction.
So I don't know. It's so a lot of the games now actually require you to have the live or the
They require you to be able to have a online subscription to the console, but not necessarily a subscription online. I mean, obviously to play online,
Yes.
you need to have a subscription online.
Yes, that's what makes sense. But no, like so say for PlayStation, particularly, like I was playing Battlefield 1, and it required me for some of the extra content for the online specifically. I had to have the PlayStation Plus account active and ready to go. Otherwise, it kicks me off. Same thing when I was playing Madden or any number of games. There's some content that I get in Final Fantasy 15. Like a weird chocobo, or some of the things that are just specific to the PlayStation Plus. I mean, there are some perks. I don't know if you need it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, developers sometimes work so much to build these games to be sustainable without online that, you kind of argue like, are you cheating yourself by just going straight to the online gaming world and not really immersing yourself in what's going on? Because some people will do that. Some people like go for every achievement, fantastic. The 100%er people
I give you those guys. I watch them on Twitch.
They complete everything. The completionist, I guess they're called, something like that. Mm-hmm. There's some couple of popular YouTube channels that do that. I don't have that kind of time to be able to just, any game I buy, just be a completionist, I definitely don't have that kind of time. However, if you buy a game, you have an online subscription, do you feel compelled to have to play online? Because in less than a year that thing's going to run out. You want to experience it. Like a lot of Call of Duty people, well, you ask them, and I say it a lot, and that's, again, a completely incorrect mathematical
by
number.
myself.
But a lot of my friends, when I ask them, hey, have you played Call of Duty, the campaign, most of them will be like, yeah, some of it. Very few will be like, yeah, I eventually played it and beat it. But Star Wars Battlefront, the first one, didn't have a campaign because, I believe for that same mentality. Because people just want to go and play online. But then they got proven completely wrong
when they wanted some type of story.
Exactly, and that's why Battlefront 2 was so successful.
Well, and I think it goes both ways though, because if you're going and playing Call of Duty, the reason why you're playing Call of Duty isn't necessarily for the fact that it had really great storyline. Let's just be honest. It used to, but now it's okay, I played through it, that's cool. You just say you did it, but you're going online to get the maps, get to the fun parts, play, capture the flag, rank up.
That's prestige, all those things.
That's what we want to do now, and I think that's, like, if we're talking specifically like first-person shooters, that's, going into a game why you're buying it. And usually for those types of games, it's because of the online play. Mm-hmm. That multiplayer, I mean, that's not a thing. That's like a thing of the past now. Like, same thing if you're going into a solo game like Skyrim. I know that the online play isn't going to be very immersive because the game is meant to be immersive. I mean, Watch Dogs, the first one, tried to do the same thing, where they tried to do the online multiplayer where, I mean, it was the first of its kind, especially for when the PlayStation 4 came out, which I fell in love with it, but when it came to online play, I was like, what is this? The story was better than the actual online play. It's not like a Grand Theft Auto or anything like that, but they were trying to do so much because they were trying to maximize the power of the actual console, and they find out that there are actual limitations when you start talking servers and countries, and they couldn't bring to the table at that time what they wanted to with the online play, multiplayer, and one of those other ones was that you didn't need a subscription for that. You didn't need it. That was one of the first games, and I did have PlayStation Plus when I first started. Really? It's back there. No, really.
But yeah, I completely see your point. If you do have a certain game, you kind of want to buy it for its online purpose. But I think there's, to me, I haven't had a PlayStation Plus account now in almost 8 months, and it's not even like a necessity, but just because, for me, time is a precious commodity, between work, family, and the crazy schedule that I have. I don't have 10 minutes to spare just to boot up, to get online, find a map, get integrated into a gaming lobby, and then afterwards finally play a game, and then wait another 2 minutes. So by the time you're averaging maybe in a gaming lobby,
Well, it depends.
5 matches in 30 minutes,
which is not bad for what you're.
Which is actually that's
really good.
Really good,
It's really good.
Exactly. So.
Depends on the time you have.
Exactly.
Depends on the time you have. I just do the monthlies. So I pay monthly. If I don't feel like getting it the next month, I just terminate.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, you come out, if I end up doing a year of my subscription, I end up paying more.
Yeah,
but
what about $40 more?
Whatever.
I guess so.
Yeah, it's $49.99. I think it jumped up. For the year. But at the end of it, I mean, I know oh, but I don't feel like having it this month or the next 6 months. I'm not tied down for the next year because I paid for something.
True.
But I said, yeah, you might as well, for the discounts, pay for the year and be done. Just know next May I will be paying
it's
for
not
it.
an unreasonable price, you know what I'm
No.
saying? That's like, 6 visits to like Starbucks, or, like that's like 6 lunches that you don't buy and just kind of like meal prep or something important. It's not an expensive thing, but what I'm saying is, if you think you need to have online to play these consoles, sometimes I don't think that's the case. There's plenty of content out there that you can buy that you don't necessarily like. For me, Shadow of War that I'm playing right now is an older game. It's several months that it's come out now, but I find myself being able to pick it up and just go, and not having to wait the 10 to 15 minutes to finally join a gaming lobby. It's like I know where I left off, pick up and start going. So, not really a debated topic, however, a topic of, what are people comfortable with? Do we really need to have online subscriptions? I don't think that's the case.
I do.
I think we finally got to a conclusion where, for me, I think you make an excellent point. We'll just buy a monthly one. And if you don't want it because you're not going to play it, then don't do it.
Don't do it again.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you put it on automatic payments and then you're still paying for it.
Yeah, and then you get screwed because all these other things are getting purchased.
A lot of times. Don't ever do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that is monthly subscriptions. Or subscriptions in general. Tell us what you think. I have them for everything, so I just like to have subscriptions to things.
Yeah.
To me, $10 out of my pocket isn't a lot.
No, it's absolutely great. I think it's worth paying a subscription for people to maintain it, manage it, keep it. PlayStation Plus content is fantastic. The free things that you get, Xbox is the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I absolutely believe in, paying for that service because of how much you get back.
Yes.
When PlayStation first came out and they started making pay, they weren't giving you anything. It was pretty crappy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, the interface was terrible. It's horrible to kind of navigate through. It was just not fun at all.
But I mean, it was kind of cool just to have the PlayStation back then. But that's a
But
whole other topic. Whole other
that's
topic.
when PlayStation 3 came out with the online subscription.
Yeah,
that was free.
that virtual world
when it was free,
I
and
lived on that game.
And I said, wait, why are we doing this for free?
We can pay
And then when they first started, if I'm not mistaken, it wasn't even that expensive. It was only like $30.
I think it was like $20.
$20.
Yeah, because I paid for like the whole year, and that was like $30.
Yeah, it was something like really cheap,
Yeah.
and then just kept going up and up and up and up and up and up.
Well,
Yeah.
here we are today. So
There you go.
next time we will have, of course, different mugs. That's the hook of the show.
Different talk.
Yeah, different talk. And hopefully no dog. We might be in a different venue because we're so low budget. But next time we'll also be talking preview of topics, if I will. I don't know them off the top of my head. Fighting games, button smashing, or technical gaming. Whichever one you like. I like
Best
it more
gaming
fun.
experience.
Best gaming experience.
And
My first gaming experience.
And the worst gaming experience.
And
you
the
have,
worst gaming experience you've
which
ever
can be,
had.
which can be terrible, absolutely.
Yes, the thing that made you not want to game anymore. So come back next time, like, review, debate, do everything, and watch. So we'll see you next time.
No trolls.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. But I can't. As low budget as we are, there's gonna be trolls.
Absolutely. So
all right.
let me send us off.
Here's the outro. And the dog. So bad.
Terrible.